Welcome to Built Through Time. Today, we're looking at one of America's most iconic structures. You know the one? The Brooklyn Bridge. You've definitely seen it in pictures, maybe even walked across it. But the story behind it, it's incredible, full of human drama.
Oh, absolutely. It's much more than just steel and stone. It's really a saga. Innovation, yes, but also tragedy, sacrifice, and this extraordinary family at the center of it all.
Right.
We're going to uncover some of the surprising facts, the stories that often get missed. It really shows what people can achieve, even when everything seems stacked against them.
Exactly. We want to understand how this bridge didn't just connect Brooklyn and New York physically, but how it also bridged different eras of technology and really pushed the limits of what everyone thought was possible back then.
And who made it happen? The human cost. It's quite a story.
Okay, so let's rewind. Mid-19th century, New York City, Brooklyn, they're booming, right?
Absolutely exploding.
Yeah.
But you've got the East River in the way,
Yeah.
a major barrier.
Ferries were the only option.
Pretty much. And they were just swamped. By 1870, get this, 70 million crossings a year.
70 million, wow. Just imagine that congestion every single day.
Yeah, a nightmare. Economically, too. It was clear they needed something permanent.
So the idea of a bridge comes up, but not just any bridge.
No, nothing simple. The vision was for this grand flying leap from shore to shore over the masts of the ships.
Meaning no piers in the middle of the river.
Exactly. No
Yeah.
drawbridge either, which technically was a huge challenge. And the man with the plan was John Augustus Roebling, German-born engineer.
No, Roebling wasn't exactly unknown, was he? He was already a bit of a pioneer.
Oh, definitely. He'd basically revolutionized bridge building already with his invention of iron wire rope. Much stronger, more reliable than the old hemp ropes they used before.
Right, the hemp hawsers would snap, right?
Yeah.
His wire rope was a game changer.
Totally. He'd used it on other bridges, like the Cincinnati-Covington Bridge,
Mhm.
which was, the longest suspension bridge in the world at that point.
So he had the credentials. And his design for the East River Bridge, it was ambitious.
Understatement of the year. Approved in 1867, it called for the first steel suspension bridge ever. An unprecedented span between the towers, 1,600 feet, the whole thing almost 6,000 feet long.
And those towers, iconic.
Absolutely. Gothic, like cathedrals, limestone and granite, soaring 268 feet high, taller than almost every other building in New York then. Only Trinity Church spire was higher.
He wasn't just thinking about function, was he? He saw something more.
He did. He talked about a grand harmony of opposite forces, declared it would be the greatest engineering work of the continent and of the age.
Bold words. How did people react? Was everyone on board?
Not at all. A lot of engineers were skeptical. Some called it a wild experiment, an exercise in vanity.
Really, vanity.
They just couldn't imagine something that big made of steel spanning that river.
Okay.
But Roebling was convinced. He said it would forever testify to the energy, enterprise, and wealth of the cities.
Okay, so the plan's approved in 67. Construction's about to start in 1869, but then disaster strikes right at the beginning.
Yeah, it's incredibly tragic. John Roebling is out taking final compass readings near the ferry slip,
Mm-hmm.
and a ferry crushes his foot against the dock. Just
Oh.
horrific luck.
Oh, no.
It led to tetanus. He died just 3 weeks later, before his masterpiece even truly began.
Unbelievable. What a terrible start. Did that put the whole project in jeopardy?
It was a huge blow, obviously. But the vision didn't die.
Hmm.
His son, Washington A. Roebling, stepped up.
His son, was he qualified?
Oh, yes. He was only 32, but he was an accomplished engineer himself. Worked with his father on bridges, and he'd just spent 2 years in Europe studying pneumatic foundations.
Pneumatic foundations? What's that?
Basically using compressed air underwater. Vital for this project, as it turned out. He knew the pressure was on him, though. Said he'd be forever compared to the old man.
Okay, so Washington takes over, and this is where things get, well, really dangerous, right? The construction itself.
Absolutely. Early 1870, they start on the foundations for those massive towers. And to do that, they had to dig down deep into the riverbed.
Oh, underwater.
Inside these enormous watertight wooden boxes. They called them caissons.
Caissons. Right, like giant upside-down rooms.
Kind of. Huge ones, 102 feet wide, 172 feet long. They pumped them full of compressed air to keep the water and mud out.
And workers went inside these.
Yes. Mostly immigrants, known as sandhogs, earning maybe $2 a day. They went down there to dig out the river bottom, mud, boulders, everything.
How deep did they have to go?
The Brooklyn side went down 44 feet. For the Manhattan side, a staggering 78 feet below the high water mark.
78 feet. Wow, what were the conditions like inside? It sounds terrifying.
Awful. Hot, the air was incredibly dense. Workers got blinding headaches, their skin itched like crazy, bloody noses were common, even slowed heartbeats.
Just from the compressed air.
Yeah, and the heat. One guy said it was 80 degrees, they'd be drenched in sweat in minutes. But the real danger, the terrifying part, was coming back up too fast.
Ugh, decompression sickness, the bends.
Exactly. Caisson disease, they called it then. Agonizing joint pain, paralysis, convulsions, trouble speaking. It could even kill you.
How many people did it affect?
Over 100 workers suffered from it. And here's the really devastating part. Washington Roebling himself, who went down into the caissons regularly,
He got it too.
he did. Badly. Became partially paralyzed. For years, he was essentially an invalid. Couldn't even read or write sometimes. Had to supervise the rest of this massive project for over a decade from his apartment window using a telescope.
Oh my God. So the chief engineer is incapacitated. How did the project even continue? Could it just stop right there?
It really could have. But this is where an incredible and often overlooked figure emerges. Emily Warren Roebling, Washington's wife.
His wife, what could she do?
She did everything. Stepped into a role that was just completely unheard of for a woman in the 19th century.
Yeah.
She wasn't just relaying messages.
No.
No. She became his essential link, his eyes and ears. But more than that, she taught herself civil engineering.
Really? She learned the technical side.
Absolutely. Mastered advanced math. Understood the complex calculations for the cables, those catenary curves, material strengths, cable construction details. She immersed herself in it.
So she wasn't just managing communication, she was making engineering contributions.
Effectively, yes. She became the de facto chief engineer on site. She dealt with the contractors daily, supervised the work, solved problems, knotty points, as they called them.
Wow.
And she fought for her husband. When people in the press and even some officials wanted him removed because he couldn't attend meetings, she lobbied successfully to keep him in charge.
That's incredible. People must have recognized her role.
People on site certainly did. It's said that many visitors who came to their home to discuss the bridge thought she was the chief engineer, and she knew her own importance. Years later, in a letter to her son, she wrote something really powerful.
What did she say?
She said, "But for me, the Brooklyn Bridge would never have the name Roebling in any way connected with it."
Wow. That's quite a statement. And probably true.
Very likely true. It really makes you think about whose contributions get remembered, doesn't it? Especially women in fields like engineering back then. History often smoothed over those details.
So how was she seen publicly? Did the newspapers acknowledge her engineering role?
Not really, not in the way we'd think. The press often framed it very differently. They talked about her feminine modesty or portrayed her as this sort of symbolic figure like a strong tower for her husband to lean on.
So less engineer, more devoted wife allegory.
Exactly. The Brooklyn Daily Eagle, for example, really played up her supposed silence on public matters as proof of this ideal feminine quality.
Why do you think they did that? Was it just sexism?
That was definitely a huge part of it. Society just wasn't ready to accept a woman in such a prominent public role in construction, which was seen as very masculine. Reshaping her story into this idealized Victorian image also conveniently shifted focus away from some of the controversies surrounding the bridge, the politics, the money issues. Presenting her as this pure, devoted figure maybe helped smooth things over for a public that was a bit wary of this huge, expensive, dangerous project.
Speaking of dangerous, beyond the Roebling family's own sacrifices, the actual construction was brutal for the workers, wasn't it?
Incredibly so. The whole thing took 14 years, cost $15 million back then, which is, what, over $320 million today?
Yeah, a huge amount.
But the human cost was immense. We know at least 24 workers died. Some estimates go up to 27.
27 people died building this bridge. How?
All sorts of ways. The bends, of course.
No.
But also falls from the towers. 3 men fell to their deaths by 1876. Falling stones killed people. There were explosions, fires in the caissons.
Fires in the compressed air.
Yes, like the Great Blowout incident. Caused massive damage, about $250,000 worth, and huge delays. In 1877, a mason named Neil Mullen died when part of the roadway structure collapsed. It was just constant danger.
It's hard to fathom. And the dangers weren't just physical, right? There was corruption, too.
Oh, yes. A major scandal hit in 1878 involving the steel wire for the main cables. Absolutely crucial component.
What happened?
A wire snapped during installation,
Yeah.
killed 2 workers, injured 2 more.
Oh, God, why did it snap?
An investigation found that the contractor supplying the wire, a guy named J. Lloyd Hay, had been secretly substituting lower quality wire.
No, to save money.
Exactly. He was apparently friends with one of the powerful bridge trustees. He pocketed something like $300,000 by using the cheap stuff. They tested 80 rings of his wire, and only 5 met the specifications.
That's appalling, putting lives at risk for profit. What happened to him?
Shockingly little. He was basically just told to pay for better wire. Wasn't fired or prosecuted initially. It really shows the kind of influence and, frankly, corruption that could exist, even on a project this important.
Were the workers just passive victims in all this? Or did they try to organize?
They did fight back. Remember the Sandhogs, many of them immigrants, Irish, German, Italian? They faced the worst dangers.
Right.
Well, in May 1872, they actually went on strike.
Really? What for?
Better pay. They wanted $3 for a 4-hour shift in the caissons, up from $2. Didn't last long. They were threatened with termination and went back. But it shows they weren't just accepting the conditions.
That's important context. And didn't labor groups protest the opening day itself?
Yes, that's another often forgotten part. On opening day, May 24th, 1883, the Central Labor Union threatened a boycott.
Why?
Because the date chosen was Queen Victoria's birthday. They saw it as an insult to American workers, a kind of concession to snobbishness. Their struggles are definitely part of the bridge's real history.
Okay, so despite all the death, disease, scandal, and strikes, after 14 long years, it's finally finished. May 24th, 1883. Opening day. Must have been huge.
Massive. A huge public holiday. President Chester A. Arthur was there, Governor Grover Cleveland too, parades, fireworks, speeches.
And Emily Roebling, was she recognized?
She was. Fittingly, she was given the honor of the very first official ride across the bridge in a carriage, and she carried a rooster with her.
A rooster? Why?
As a symbol of victory. A nod to finally completing this epic struggle. It was her triumph, too. Over 150,000 people walked across that first day. About 1,800 vehicles crossed as well.
And the impact on the cities, was it immediate?
Absolutely immediate. It completely transformed New York. Suddenly you had safe, reliable transport for goods, for people. It cemented New York as the dominant commercial center in the U.S. And Brooklyn, its population exploded. Went from about 580,000 to over 1 million in just 15 years. People could live in Brooklyn and commute easily to jobs in Manhattan. It also helped with Manhattan's housing shortage.
It really was the eighth wonder of the world, as they called it.
For a time, yeah. It was the tallest structure in the whole Western Hemisphere. 276.5 feet above the water. A true marvel.
But even after opening, tragedy wasn't quite done with the bridge, was it? There was that stampede.
Yeah, just 6 days after opening. May 30th, Memorial Day. Huge crowds on the bridge. Someone, supposedly a woman, tripped and screamed, and a panic started. People thought the bridge was collapsing.
Oh, how awful. After everything.
It was. 12 people were trampled to death, dozens more injured. Just fueled public fears about the bridge's stability, even though it was perfectly sound.
Didn't P.T. Barnum get involved somehow?
He did. To prove the bridge was safe and calm everyone down, the next year, 1884, Barnum famously marched 21 of his circus elephants across it.
21 elephants?
And 17 camels. A brilliant PR stunt, really. Seemed to work. People started trusting the bridge more after that.
And today, still a vital part of the city, right?
Incredibly so. Still carries, around 150,000 vehicles and pedestrians every single day? It's had major renovations over the years, of course. Keeping it maintained is a massive job. Recent repair estimates were over $800 million. Shows how important it still is.
It's just such an incredible story when you put it all together. The ambition, the engineering genius, but also the immense human cost, the sacrifice, and especially the story of the Roeblings, John's vision, Washington's determination, and Emily's absolutely crucial unsung role.
Absolutely. It stands as this monument, not just to engineering, but to perseverance. And it forces us to remember all the human stories woven into these grand structures we see, the stories we don't always hear.
Yeah, the Sandhogs and the caissons, the workers who died, the political battles.
Yeah.
It's all part of it.
It really connects generations. From those workers to the Roeblings to us crossing it today, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Wonder what?
What unseen efforts, what overlooked people are behind the things we rely on every day? Whose stories are we missing now?
That is a great thought to leave everyone with. If you like and want to hear more of these discussions, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of Built Through Time.